Hello everyone, how are you? Fine, thank you. This is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You know all the things to do. It was Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color Day at Ben's Game Zone in Ralston today. So we're going through my stack, starting with the lone Game Boy game I picked up called Dexterity. It's still got a little bit of the shrink wrap and a hang tag on it, but I'm going to go ahead and remove all of that because A, it's already in a protected box, and B, that stuff can just damage the cardboard over time, so there's no need to leave it on there if you don't have to. We'll get into that more in a little bit because there was a new sealed game that I opened, and it definitely needed to be opened because the shrink wrap was causing problems. As you can see, everything is in here: the game manual, the Nintendo Power subscription flyer, everything you would expect. It is complete in box. So let's test the game and see if it works. I've got Q-tips and rubbing alcohol at the ready just in case it doesn't, but it fires up fine here on my analog pocket, so I don't see any problems of any kind. Now, Dexterity averages $30 complete in box on price charting, so I thought $29 was a very fair price for Ben to sell it at, especially considering it already came in a protected plastic box and I didn't have to buy one separately, so that's added value. It's a very Cubert style game where you need to flip all the tiles from one color to another color, but there are enemies constantly getting in your way trying to stop you from doing that. Next up we have Franklin's Great Adventures for Game Boy Advance. Franklin the Turtle in 3 different languages on the back. We've got English, French, and Spanish. So it's quite an interesting multi-region release. Let's get it out of the box and take a look at it. I assume the manual will be multi-language as well. You would expect that with that many languages on the back. And here's the box. Here's the slightly creased health and safety precautions booklet. And here is the manual, and it is indeed in multiple languages, so no surprise there. Let's fire up the game, see if it works, see what it looks like, see what it's all about. On price charting, this game averages around $6.60 complete in box, but considering I got the protective plastic box to go around it, I think that's worth at least another $1 to $1.50. So $8 for it complete doesn't seem outrageous to me, and it's in pretty nice shape too. Now, this is pretty obviously going to be a kid's game. It aired on Nickelodeon Junior in the United States, so that should tell you all that you need to know about the target audience for this game. And from what little I played of it before I moved on to testing the next game, it seems like a series of mini games loosely strung together with an overworld, and you're probably doing educational puzzles to collect the items you need to unlock new mini games, because the very first person I ran into said, "Hey, want to trade some apples for a mini game?" And I said no and left it there because I wanted to move on to FZero GP Legend. This is obviously the standout of the games I picked up from Ben's today, and I was very happy to see it because there are very few FZero games that I don't have, and this might in fact be the only one that I didn't have complete in box, so I was pretty stoked to see it. Now, is $49 a fair price for it? In this condition, absolutely yes it is, because it goes for $25 loose and $48 complete, and this one is so nice that I would have definitely paid $1 extra anywhere else. eBay, any game store, you can't get a nicer looking copy that's already been opened than what's on display here. As for the game itself, it's based on the anime of the same name, which only aired 15 episodes on Foxbox in the United States before it was canceled. And of course, the anime is itself based on the FZero franchise. So what you're going to get is very familiar if you've played any other FZero games. Even if you're playing FZero 99 right now on Nintendo Switch Online, you won't be surprised by what's on offer here. Even the familiar sounds of the game that you know, the music that has been a staple of the FZero series going all the way back to the Super Nintendo, it's here too. So I don't know that I would say you could rank this as the all-time greatest F-Zero game, because for me, that's F-Zero 64 hands down. But if you like the F-Zero formula, and you're not playing it one-handed like I am right now for the camera, then you're definitely going to want to add this to the library. Even if you pick up a loose copy for 25 bucks, I say go for it. And here we have the infamous game that I was talking about, Spyro the Eternal Night, and the shrink wrap has already started to shrink inward even further on this game. You probably can't tell right now while I've got it in the plastic box, but I'll get it out and we'll take a closer look at it. Now, if you go by price charting, I'm going to be shaving $15 off the value by taking the shrink wrap off of this, because it only goes for 35 complete and 50 new. But you can see the damage the shrink wrap was doing to the side of the box right there. And you can see it was also creasing in the corner at the top as well. So if I didn't take it out of the shrink wrap, it was just going to keep crushing it. And I don't think a crushed box is more valuable just because it's sealed. I would like to keep the box in somewhat good condition. And I will admit, it is fun to open a game that's never been opened before, and also to save it from getting crushed in the process. So I feel like I can take that $15 hit to be the first person to ever open this and to actually play the game instead of leaving it sealed away forever, never played. Now, if you're expecting a 3D Spyro game, this is definitely not that. That's not to say that Game Boy Advance games couldn't do 3D, and some do it remarkably well. You can watch any number of videos like GameSack or Stop Skeletons from Fighting that have covered that topic, but this is a side-scrolling 2D Spyro game, which I'm okay with because Game Boy Advance does side-scrolling 2D games and top-down RPG games very well. It's almost the perfect hardware for this sort of thing. So for me, Spyro in 2D is probably a better idea on a Game Boy Advance than trying to use that processing power to do 3D, which would have to be largely software and very little hardware, and quite taxing to make look and work correctly. So 2D was the right choice for this game, and for my money, and it is my money to do what I want with, it was the right choice to take the shrink wrap off of this and keep that box in nice shape. I'm just happy to finally add this Spyro game to my collection, just like I was happy to finally add F-Zero GP Legend. Had never seen either of those complete in the box before today. Lastly, we have Naughty, A Day in Toyland. Now, I don't know if price charting is the best metric to judge whether I overpaid for this or not, because there hasn't been a complete in-box copy sold since 2019. So $20 may be too little, $20 may be too much. I don't know how many copies of Naughty are out there complete in box, but this one definitely is. Let's take a look at what's on the inside by pulling out the cardboard tray and all of the other contents that are either in it or around it. What do we have here? A full color manual, the usual health and safety precautions manual, and the game itself. And I'm very happy to see every part of this together. I will buy loose Game Boy Advance games if they're ones that I really want, but if they're ones I only kind of want, I would much rather have them complete in box and not have to worry about upgrading them later. Now, it seems like this game was kind of a flop in the United States, because one entry I could find about it on a large fandom wiki said that a GameCube version was planned but canceled due to poor sales of the Game Boy Advance version, and I guess I can't say I'm surprised by that when this is based on a UK series that I don't think had any exposure in the United States and maybe only a little bit in Canada, called Naughty's Toyland Adventures. So, yeah, this was always destined to be kind of a flop, but if you look around for the Metacritic type websites, there are some good reviews of it out there saying it's a fun, lighthearted platformer. So Maybe give this one a chance if you see a loose copy out there somewhere. I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and as always, thanks for watching.